I don't have time, but yeah, I'll go collect the inheritance. Scarlett hangs up after saying this upon hearing about the death of a loved one who had raised her with affection. The first thing I heard from her after several years were these heartless words, and even though she's my daughter, I genuinely thought she's not human. Little did Scarlett know that her attitude would later ruin her life. I'm Emma, 52 years old, a single mom of 2 daughters. I work at a restaurant near my childhood home. I divorced because my husband cheated when Scarlett was still a baby. After the divorce, my dad took us in. My older daughter, Karen, Scarlett, and they lived a modest life in my father's home. Though Dad is retired and on a pension, he owns a few properties, including an apartment building. I'm not sure exactly how much money he makes. My parents were looking forward to enjoying their retirement years together, but then my mom passed away, and for a while, I'd lost his spark. However, when we started living with him, the joy of seeing his grandchildren grow brought life back to his eyes. Since then, he's been a doting grandfather and filled the role of a father figure. Despite being from a single-parent home, my daughters grew up in a blessed environment. Rewind to their teenage years. Karen turned out to be a conscientious, family-oriented, and gentle kid. She often helped with the household chores, making my life easier as I worked late. On the other hand, Scarlett grew up to be a charming and savvy girl. She aimed to go to college, and we all support her. Both Dad and I have always treated the sisters equally, but Scarlett was never satisfied with her monthly allowance and frequently asked Dad for more money. Even considering the private high school tuition she chose for herself compared to Karen, who went to a public high school. Scarlett was always more expensive. A few years later, Karen started living on her own after landing a job in a company in the next town over. Scarlett, on the other hand, had enrolled in college, but spent her days doing anything but studying. Both Dad and I started to worry as Scarlett's spending got increasingly out of hand.
Grandpa, can I have $500?
What again? What are you spending all this money on? Just another day where Scarlett is asking Dad for money. I try to scold her.
It's no big deal. It's for self-improvement. I'm going on a trip with my friends to take photos that will get tons of likes on social media.
Social media?
Yeah, you post pictures online, and if they look good, people from all over the world will give you lots of likes. It's for building up my skills, so come on, give me some allowance.
Seriously, you don't have to give her anything. Dad.
I gives in easily and hands her the money, but he also urges her to learn from Karen.
Instead of wasting time at home, I drew up with the chores like Karen does.
No way. Karen didn't go to college because she was too busy with chores. I don't have time for that.
Scarlett looks down on Karen, believing her to be less educated. Ed warns Scarlett about her disrespectful behavior.
Those will sell you watch your mouth. Both Mom and Karen are supporting your college life, you know?
So annoying. Got my money, so I'm good.
Wait a minute.
Ignoring Dad and me? In reality, Karen had enough academic ability to go to college, but she chose to work after graduating to support the household. Although she sends money home every month, I secretly deposit all of it into Karen's account. A small act despite telling Scarlett numerous times to stop bad-mouthing Karen. She never changed her attitude. She continued to scrape by, earning just enough credits and still spending her days in leisure. Then one day, Scarlett announced she was getting married to her boyfriend. She hadn't even graduated college, and frankly, we were all concerned. This was discussed during our first family meeting.
Nice to meet you all. My name is Leon. Thank you for inviting me, Dai.
8 years older than Scarlett. Leon is a young executive at a major corporation, an undeniable success. At first, I had reservations about their marriage, but after seeing how genuine he was, I wanted Scarlett to live a good life through their married years. So, I decided to bless their union. Since then, Karen often visited our family home, showing concern for us. However, Scarlett, who moved out right after getting married to live with her husband, never kept in touch. She didn't even answer our calls. But to make matters worse, during summer and Christmas breaks, it was Leon who would contact us or even come by himself to... We heard from Leon that Scarlett had found a job after graduation and was considering having a wedding ceremony. It felt odd hearing this from him and not Scarlett. She didn't even reach out to our dad, who'd given her so much love. It felt like she didn't need us anymore now that she was financially stable. Honestly, I was not fond of Scarlett. One day, after 3 years had passed since Dad and I began living in our family home, I got a call from the hospital and had collapsed at work. I rushed to the hospital only to find that he had already passed away. According to the doctor, he suffered from heart failure. Neighbors had noticed him collapsing in the yard and had called an ambulance, but it was too late by the time they arrived. It was so sudden. He'd been so healthy just yesterday. I called Karen, who said she would come right away. I also tried reaching Scarlett, but she didn't pick up as usual. I had to inform her about Dad, so I kept calling. Finally, on the 5th call, she answered and said, "What's so urgent?" Finally, or being annoying. Despite her uninterested tone, I broke the news about Dad. Our grandpa passed away today. It was sudden heart failure. I know you may be busy, but please come to the hospital near our home. Expecting her to be saddened, I was about to offer some comforting words when she replied, "Oh, is that so? But I'm too busy. I'm going on a short-term language study program." Stunned for a moment, I felt irritated by Scarlett's indifference. No signs of grief, not even the slightest hint she'd come to see me. "Are you really okay with this? Haven't I taken care of you since you were kids? Cancel your study abroad. I'll give you the money for another opportunity. Please, be here for me one last time." But my plea met with silence from Scarlett. "Look, the only reason he's even in the picture is because Dad divorced you and you went back to your family, right? So don't act like you're doing me any favors. I'm using up all my paid leave for this, and who knows when I'll be able to go again. Besides, I'm sure Grandpa wouldn't want me to miss this opportunity. So just sort things out with Karen, will you? I've got to get ready. Oh, but I'll swing by later to pick up my inheritance, okay? She hung up, leaving me speechless. What did my existence even mean to Scarlett? Was I just a convenient ATM called Mom to her? Just then, Karen arrived. When she saw Dad peacefully resting, and I recounted what had happened, she burst into tears.
You were always so good to me, and I couldn't give anything back. I'm so sorry. Grandpa.
Choking back tears, Karen broke down, and I couldn't help but hug her tightly. Though Grandpa was always grateful for you. Let's send him off with a smile, okay?
Okay, Karen nodded.
We tried reaching out to Scarlett multiple times, but she never answered. At the wake and funeral, been helped out. However, the relatives noticed Scarlett's absence and were quick to criticize. Everett for her, saying she was studying abroad and couldn't make it back. But things took a turn when Scarlett's husband, Leon, attended the funeral. After greeting us, he asked why Scarlett wasn't there. Both Karen and I exchanged glances, unsure if Leon was aware of the study abroad story. I probed. Well, she said she was going on a language study program. Did she not tell you? We've been trying to get hold of her.
He paused, deep in thought, and then said, "Excuse me a moment," and tried to call Scarlett, who again didn't answer. Oh, she never mentioned studying abroad. He's been saying she's busy with her studies and has been staying at a friend's place, not coming home. They're even talking about planning our wedding, but that's been on hold because she's not coming back. But to be honest, I'm starting to suspect she might be having an affair. I apologize for bringing this up at such a time.
No, thank you for sharing. If we find out anything about Scarlett, we'll let you know right away.
I told Leon that I was on the same page as Karen. Karen must have had her reasons too. Skipping our dad's funeral, who we owe so much, not telling Leon about studying abroad and being unreachable now. Everything makes sense if you think she's cheating on him. 2 days have passed since Dad's funeral. I was sorting through his belongings during my time off when my phone rings.
Hello. His brother is CRCO Lion's brother. I'm glad I got to.
He seemed anxious, but what he said was unbelievable.
I'd say for the sudden contact, Ann was just in a car accident and is now unconscious and in critical condition. I've tried calling Scarlett multiple times but can't get through.
I quickly told Kyle I'd be heading over and hung up. After informing Karen of the situation, we both made our way to the hospital where Leon was taken. Once at the hospital, we found Kyle tearfully watching over Leon. That's when he noticed us entering the room. He wiped away his tears and greeted us.
I'll thank you for coming. I apologize for the distressing scene.
Leon still hadn't regained consciousness. His parents were talking to the doctor. Once Kyle regained his composure, he shared Leon's story with us, albeit in pieces. His concerns about his strained marriage with Scarlett, the suspicion of infidelity, yet wanting to believe Scarlett. The doctors say his recovery is unlikely. After he finished speaking, Kyle murmured, "Leon, this is just so unfair. I've always relied on him. I've never given anything back." We understood how Kyle felt, empathizing with his emotions.
I get it. I felt the same way just a few days ago. For now, let's believe in Leon. When he wakes up, let's greet him with smiles, as Karen said, comforting him with kind words.
Kyle could only respond with tears. Leon kept on fighting, his breathing stopping and starting, but he never woke up. He passed away exactly a month later. We tried to get the news to Scarlett, but as expected, she was nowhere to be found. As with heartfelt gratitude for all that he had done, we pitched in to help with Leon's funeral. Perhaps about a week had passed since Leon's funeral, and Karen was helping us sort through Dad's belongings over the weekend. That's when Karen got a call from Scarlett on her cell phone. Scarlett had been out of touch for over a month after Dad and her own husband had passed away. Curious, I listened in on the call. Scarlett, true to form, responded with, "Oh, Karen, I'm back in Japan. So what's happening with my inheritance?" She brought up money right away. I had reached my limit with her attitude and grabbed Karen's phone to talk to Scarlett myself. "Listen, you took off abroad without telling Leon. Explain yourself."
Wait, what? Mom's there too. I did explain, maybe he just didn't hear me. What about the inheritance?
Furious, I informed her about what had happened while she was away.
Liam died in an accident. He's gone. If you don't believe me, go to his parents' house and see for yourself.
What?
She was saying something, but I hung up the phone. Hurt from her reaction, it seemed likely Scarlett would head to her in-laws' place. I told Kyle, and we decided to go there as well. We got there first, and after a bit, Scarlett arrived by taxi. Acquits when she saw Leon's memorial photo, she burst into tears.
Olá, Scorpiento.
Normally, everyone would sympathize with Scarlett, his wife. But both Kyle and I were giving her cold stares. So I asked her, "What have you been doing all this time?"
I told you I was studying abroad.
Scarlett answered, continuing to wail Leon's name. As if she was the one suffering the tragedy, I confronted her with the truth. "Weren't you actually traveling abroad with another man?"
What? I said it was for language study. Don't make things up. How could you accuse me of such a thing when I'm grieving?
Scarlett was taken aback for a moment, but then she argued back. Then Kyle, who had been giving Scarlett cold glances, finally spoke up.
Saying to you what really brought you here. And listen, what Emma's saying isn't all made up, you know?
Kyle showed photos of Scarlett entering a hotel with an unknown man and screenshots from a travel website confirming 2 tickets were booked. When he looked at Scarlett, her face had turned pale, her tears gone.
What is this?
Sons of runs of your affair. These photos were taken by a private investigator. But it wasn't me who hired him. It was, I also have reports that you referred to Leon as an ATM, and yet you can cry in front of a memorial photo. Unbelievable.
No, that's not it.
Karen seemed to reach her boiling point with Scarlett's vagueness.
You're mistaken if you think you can talk your way out of this. You didn't attend Grandpa's funeral. You betrayed Leon and took an overseas trip for an affair. You're despicable.
I'm sorry.
Facing unanimous condemnation, Scarlett finally admitted to her affair through her tears. And so, Scarlett's activities over the past month came to light. According to the investigator, your overseas trip lasted about a week. Where were you after that? It was hard to make out through her tears, but it seemed she had been staying at her lover's place. She couldn't reach Leon by phone after returning and spent the 4 weeks as usual, having fun with her lover. I didn't think it would come to this. And now, the first thing she brings up when she finally contacts me is inheritance. There's no redeeming her anymore. Kyle informed her that they were planning to sue her for the affair. We're going to sue you over this affair. But Leon is... Yes, he has passed away. But we can still sue you. We, as a family, won't forgive you for betraying Leon. We'll see this through. I don't have that kind of money. Panicked, the next words out of Scarlett's mouth were about the inheritance. Yes, the inheritance. Give me my share. I'll pay for whatever I need to. Just tell me where it is. About that, Grandpa actually prepared a will stating that you won't get a dime. He mentioned that as soon as he stopped giving you money, you disappeared. Why? I think it's only fair. People aren't your convenient ATFs. I've had enough of you too. But cutting you off, even for yourself, Scarlett broke down and wept on the spot. Kyle told her coldly to leave, but she wouldn't budge. Eventually, his parents, who'd been watching from the next room, came out and escorted her out. But then as we saw a dejected Scarlett walk away into the night, we said our goodbyes to Kyle and his parents and left. I've since sold the family home, which was too large for me to live in alone, and now live with Karen in a new place. Scarlett, of course, is a different story. I don't want her to rely on me, and I've changed my contact information. Apparently, Scarlett broke up with the man she was cheating with. He was an employee from a company we do business with, and both found it uncomfortable to stay in their respective workplaces after their affair came to light. They both ended up quitting their jobs. I also came out that Scarlett had been going on a spending spree with Leon's credit card, and his family is in the process of taking legal action for compensation. A neighbor informed me that they saw Scarlett sitting alone and dejected on what used to be our family property, implying she likely lost her apartment as well. Recently, I heard rumors that Scarlett, now with heavy makeup on a gaunt face, has been approaching men in the entertainment department. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned as her mother, but I maintain a stern distance, believing she should face the consequences of her actions. But on a happier note, Karen and Kyle, who are the same age, have grown close and seem to be getting along well. Kyle told me in confidence that he felt something special when he first met Karen. They've been spending a lot of time together recently, so I'm expecting some good news soon. Though I'm mentally and physically drained from the series of unfortunate events, am optimistic about Karen's happiness and committed to living my own life fully.